What is up, everybody? What is going on? Welcome to another episode of VR365. It is exactly 5 p.m. Pacific time, and we are on the West Coast. Ladies and gentlemen, we are on the West Coast, and you know what? There is more evidence coming a little bit later in the show why the West Coast is the best coast, and why the entire world must adjust itself to West Coast time. Not just because of VR365. On Thursday, 5 p.m. On Sunday at 11:30 a.m. But yeah, you know, it's all about the West Coast. That is where I live. And so anyway, folks, it is March 5th. And do you know what that means? It is March 5th, and we are in the month of March. It is a good month to be in. And how many days do we have? We have 18 days left. There are 18 days until the arrival of Half-Life Alyx. How incredible is that? It is mere weeks away, and we're going to get into a number of different Half-Life Alyx things a little bit later in the show. There's Valve Index discussion. But, you know, we're going to start things off with the primary topic of the day. But also, I want to say, make sure you stay tuned. Later in the show, we are going to be discussing Oculus and SideQuest. Does Oculus actually have a competitor to SideQuest? Is Oculus going to shut SideQuest down? Also, what exactly is going on with Oculus Quest and the curation that is going on over there? And we're going to get into that. So Chris Pruitt, I believe, Oculus's director of developer something, he was on Twitter talking about that. And so we're going to look into that topic as well. We've also got a brand new VR game that we've never known about that has come out of the blue that actually looks kind of cool. It is very colorful. It looks pretty legit. Might have some very talented developers that are behind that game. But yeah, 18 days. 18 days until well, I was going to say 18 days until the Valve Index. Not exactly. There will be no Valve Indexes available in 18 days. I can assure you of that. You're going to have to pay an incredibly pretty penny to get your hands on a Valve Index in the next 18 days. But in 18 days, if you have a Valve Index, but even if you don't have a Valve Index, you can enjoy this game. But you know what? This is not the lead story that we're rolling with. The lead story, ladies and gentlemen, and this is a shocker of shockers, the drought season. The drought season. It is happening. It is everywhere. Out of stock. It's all out of stock all the time. Like I said, we're going to be talking about the Valve Index, and there is more stock that is going to come in for the Valve Index. That's our next story. We're going to get into that. But even so, you got to know that stock is going to be gone poof so quickly. It is drought season, ladies and gentlemen. It is drought season. If you would like to buy a Rift S, an Oculus Quest, or a Valve Index, good luck. Good luck. Seriously, good luck, because there aren't any stocks anywhere. Everybody is talking about it. Everybody's trying to scramble to buy one of these headsets, to get their hands on any one of these headsets, especially with Half-Life Alyx coming. It is a disappointing thing, man, because, God, everything was going great in the video game industry. Well, not video game, in the VR gaming industry. Everything was going really good. We had one of the best November and Decembers, easily actually, We've had the best November, December. October, November, December, we've had the best we've ever had. The best fourth quarter we've ever had. Not even a question about it. Asgard's Wrath, Stormland, Pistol Whip, Espire 1, all the freaking games, Boneworks, all the games, Budget Cuts 2, all the games that slammed us in October, November, and December, the best fourth quarter ever. Then, after having the best fourth quarter ever, and after getting some of the best VR games ever, then we get freaking Saints and Sinners. That's like the cherry on top of the sundae. That is a really nice cherry. There's whipped cream on there. There's little chocolate shavings, all kinds of stuff. But the cherry on the top was, of course, Saints and Sinners. That was January 23rd. Everything was just freaking awesome. Everything was going great in the VR gaming world. And then, unfortunately, it's been drought season. And I'm not going to say the C word. I'm not going to say it. But you know what? It's had an effect. It's had an effect. What do I call it? It's the wet blanket scenario. We've had a really thick, heavy, wet blanket just dropped on our entire VR gaming industry. And it's not only wet, but it smells like dog. It is a straight up dog wet, piss stained blanket. It is, dude, I can't spin this. There's no positive way to spin this. Look, I know some of you out there are eternal optimists and you want to be positive about everything. And I understand that. For example, Paradise Decay, that boy is positive. He looks for the positivity in a lot of stuff. Like I don't care what negative thing I say about anything, Paradise Decay tries to find some little positive squirt in there somewhere and squirt it out of there, right? Because recently, what did I say? I forget. We were talking about, the lack of stock, and one of the things, I think Paradise Decay said, don't worry, because when it comes back in stock, everybody will buy it. And I'm like, no, not necessarily, man. People move on. Like, people move on with their life. There's people waiting for Oculus Quest. They've been waiting for them forever. At some point, some of these people are going to go in a different direction. They're going to buy an aquarium. I don't know. They're going to freaking start building a tough shed in the backyard. They're going to do something else. That money's going to go somewhere else eventually. I don't believe in this idea that people get it in their heads that they're buying a Quest or they're buying a Valve Index. They put the money aside and it's going to stay there for 9 months. Hell or high water. It doesn't matter. I'm going to get... No, people get distracted. Now, if you're a hardcore VR gaming nut, sure, you might have your money nestled away and you might be doing that, but the rest of us, we get distracted, man. If you're not the most hardcore VR nut job, you're going to get distracted. You're going to go in a different direction. You're going to use that money on something else. There's no positive way to spin this. I'm sorry, there just isn't. Sometimes we just got to deal with reality. We got to look at reality. We got to be aware of it. And we've just got to cope with it. Okay, so what I want to do right now, let me go ahead and see what's going on in chat, because I will do a better job with chat. I totally ignore chat, of course, when I have an interview going on, but we don't have an interview going on. So let's go ahead and see what's going on here. Okay, VR Spry Guy says, but the West Coast has all the COVID-19. Remember, I'm not saying the C word. I am not saying the actual C word all the way. Okay, TechnoGlitch 666, negative. The tone of this episode, dude, I mean, what am I supposed to do? Okay, there's some positivity in this episode. I guarantee you there will be positivity in this episode. Gaming Science Teacher says, oh yeah, California proved last night it's the best. And Attack says the entire world should adjust to Tokyo time. Everyone knows Tokyo is the best city in existence. Attack, wait a minute, are you really in Tokyo? Because you are living a dream, bro. I mean, Tokyo, like, dude, that is like a city from the future. Of course, you're probably paying thousands upon thousands upon thousands of dollars for like a tiny little bathroom that you call an apartment. But dude, I've never been to Japan. It would be sweet. I would love to go to Japan. Rendered Reality says, Half-Life Alyx, what is that? Attack Attack says, dude, Attack Attack is like on Adderall and is really blowing up chat, saying, I want no Alyx spoilers or I will have to leave whatever. Okay, yeah, there won't be any Alyx spoilers. We'll get to that soon enough. But yeah, we're just talking about the drought season. Phil Yarn says, on my 3rd episode of Westworld, getting prepared to play the game. Oh my God, dude, Phil Yarn. First of all, it's a pretty good TV show. So you're going to enjoy the very first season of Westworld. And you don't really need to worry about season 2, to be honest. Honestly, just season 1, you'll be good. Season 1, you'll be good. Rudel Zavedno, a fine wine. Rudel Zavedno is a fine wine. And by the way, he's waiting on his artisan. He's waiting on his fine artisan bread. Dude, just go to Panera Bread. If you want artisan, just go to Panera Bread. You don't have to wait for that Pimax bread. They want your bread. Okay, the Z word is the worst. Okay, so we're talking about different word. Index something, only $9.99. Okay, so anyway, that's chat. Let's go ahead and get on to the next story. So, what I was talking about here, the drought season. The drought season. Fools are looking for a reason. The drought season. Like, if you guys are into rap at all, especially on the West Coast, like every other rapper has a song about the drought season. Fools are looking for the reason. The drought season. They're looking for a reason. I've heard a lot of rap songs talk about the drought season, but yeah, we are in the drought season. Speaking of the drought season, Valve would like to open that valve a little bit and just let a couple of little droplets drip on through. So we actually got real word from Valve themselves, from Valve headquarters, about the Valve Index coming back in stock. Now remember, they promised a certain number of Valve Indexes coming back in time for Alyx. Of course, they didn't imagine that there would be a worldwide catastrophe that would F everything up and really throw a monkey wrench into the plans. But why don't we go ahead and read what they have here? Let's understand what they're saying here. Valve Index VR kits will be available for purchase this Monday, March 9th, starting at when? 10 a.m. But what time? Like what time zone? Oh, Pacific Daily Time. Yeah, or Pacific Daily Time. I don't know, whatever that is. It's Pacific Standard Time, whatever. It's the West Coast, brah. West Coast again. Proven. We are proven. The world revolves around our time. Don't you know, like when Oculus makes an announcement, it's like 10 o'clock Pacific time, right? You know, when Lies Beneath, on March 31st, when Lies Beneath goes live for the Oculus Questers, and then on April 14th, when it goes live for the Rift Sers, it's going to go live at 10 a.m. Pacific time. So yeah, more confirmation there. Okay, so what's happening at 10 a.m.? Well, they do expect available stock to sell out due to high demand, so all purchases fulfilled beyond this initial quantity will be fulfilled in the order in which they are received as supplies increase over the coming months. And you know where the emphasis belongs? The emphasis belongs on months. I'm sorry, I can't spin it in a positive way. I wish I could have Paradise Decay come on the channel right now, just so it could be negative versus positive. Fight, because I want to see, how does Paradise Decay try to, oh, it's great, man. There's plenty of it, you know. Okay, Paradise Decay talks like this. Oh, it's great, man. There's plenty of Valve Indexes going to be available. And yeah, they might sell out really fast, but you know what? You're going to be in line, man. So you're going to be able to get that next Valve Index. You're not going to wait that long, man. Just a couple of months, man. Okay, you know what? You're going to be waiting until the cows come home. It's going to take a long time. Man, thank God I got my Valve Index, I'll tell you that much, because I'm telling you, it's going to be a lengthy time. You're going to have to either pay through the nose, you're going to have to hit up eBay. It's crazy, man. There's not going to be a lot of these things available, and they are going to sell out within fractions of seconds. Like, it is going to go so fast. You know what you really need to do? If you want to get the Valve Index, here's what you need to do. Drive to Home Depot. Okay, first of all, bring a bus. Okay, drive to Home Depot, grab a whole bunch of people that normally would be working on your gardening, and give every one of them a laptop and log them all into Steam, man, because I'm telling you, you're going to need a freaking army of people ready to go and to try to get an order that actually goes through Monday at 10 a.m. Pacific time. Good luck with that. It is going to be harsh. It is going to be harsh. It is the drought season. It is real. Okay, now, let's talk a little bit about some good news. Let's talk about some good news. Instead of talking about how everything is out of stock, you can't buy anything anywhere, and there is a ginormous wet blanket that is just smothering the VR gaming industry. But we did get a tidbit of good news. Now, so what I am about to throw on the screen, ladies and gentlemen, is a gameplay video by Valve that was dropped on YouTube. Look at that beautiful imagery that is on the screen. Why am I looking at teleportation, though? That is a crime against humanity. But look at how pretty that is. Look at the way the sunlight is just falling, the time of day that it is. It looks so good. Now, here's what I got to say about all this stuff, folks. This is about as much as I've seen of this video, and then I shut it the hell off. And I've done that with all of the different videos that have come out about Half-Life Alyx. Now, I know a lot of people are eating it up. I'm sure there's tons of videos where they're like, oh, did you see how he grabbed that door? So the door has real door open mechanics, man. I mean, it's really quite next. You know, people are probably analyzing every little tiny aspect of this stuff. I'm actually kind of avoiding this. I don't want to see it anymore. I don't even want to see it right here. Like, this is actually a problem right now. I'm already seeing more footage than I want to see. You know, you can basically divide the population of humanity into two different camps. There's the camp that sneaks into their mom's closet, finds their Christmas present, takes a freaking sharp razor blade and cuts a small little incision to open it up and look at their Christmas present to see if they got the Lego set that they were dreaming about, or if they got that special Star Wars Snowtrooper edition Hoth battle, you know, whatever it was, the dream present, the Atari 2600, the Super Nintendo, whatever, your Nintendo 64. I know some of you snuck into your mom's closet and you did that. You got out the razor blade and you tried to cut a little spot and then tape it up like nothing ever happened. And then when Christmas Day came along and it's like, oh, here's from Santa. It was left for you from Santa. And you already know what the heck it is. That's why I'm not watching this stuff. I don't want to see none of it. I'm already seeing too much of it. Thank God. Okay, so it ended, and now it's going to start over. March 23rd, Half-Life.com. Yeah, dude, the bottom line with Half-Life Alyx is, number one, there's a 95% chance, and this is straight up, 95% chance that this is the best VR game ever. Would anybody disagree with that? Would anybody disagree with that? That there's a 95% chance this is the best VR game ever. Okay, so that's pretty good odds. That is pretty goddamn good odds. And then if you take that one away, I'd say there's a 99.9% chance that it's one of the 4 best VR games ever. Just knowing those two facts, why do I need to watch anything? I don't need to watch anything. I don't need to see anything. I'm just going to wait until March 23rd. Call me a Luddite or whatever, you know, a curmudgeon, whatever, fine. Call me that. I don't like it. Dude, I hate these like movie trailers where it shows you like this guy meets this girl, they freaking break up, she dies in a car crash. I mean, these freaking movie trailers that give you the entire story. Nah, I don't want to see any of this stuff. but it does look great. You know, it looks absolutely beautiful. There's lots of, definitely lots of hand interactions. There's going to be a lot of manipulation. I do believe this is one of these games that, because there's going to be a lot of new people that are coming in for the first time ever, a lot of new people. Think of how many new people in the month of March and April are going to play VR for the first time ever, and their very first experience is going to be inside this game. That's a beautiful thing. And they're going to get a lot of hand interaction and moving things around and physics and stuff. They're going to think all of VR is this good, and it isn't, but that's great for us. You know, we need more of this information out there. Okay, so I got to get this video off of the screen before I ruin anything else. So I'm going to find one of my old Half-Life Alyx videos on the screen just to kind of save me from all of this. So yeah, I'll put a Half-Life Alyx screenshot montage on the screen. I've seen these screenshots. Now there's a beautiful one that is from that video. That is a beautiful screenshot, to be sure. Now I can go ahead and look at chat in peace without worrying about more spoilers. Okay, so let's see. Ray Delatorre. Anthony's kind of like the news, scaring us with the C word, which I will never say today. Yeah. Well, you know what? No, there's just been some negative stuff. What can I tell you about it? And Slay Blaze with a super chat in the house. He says, sneaking into mom's closet since the mid-1980s. Yeah, buddy. He looked at that old Star Wars Hoth scene. He found it in the closet. Totally ruined his Christmas, but he loved it. Okay, Main Fan says, I did that as a child, not as an adult. Okay, so maybe there's some people out there that don't do that. That's pretty cool. Phil Yarn says, this seems like the official Half-Life time era. Hell, I'm even tempted to buy that new Black Mesa game. You know what? Speaking of like checking things out, I do have SideQuest up and running finally, you know, back into the SideQuest thing. I haven't done the original Half-Life game. I am going to get that operational up in there, and I'm going to try that out. So I definitely will be reporting on that very soon. Yeah, so you got cold yogurt. Well, I like my yogurt very, very cold. I like Faye. Faye, 2% fat, very chilled, is very, very good. Bellissimo. But you get some fresh blueberries, really fresh blueberries, mix some of those babies in, really nice. Nye says, I wish there weren't a headset. Nye says, I wish there wasn't headset supply issues right now. I really wish there wasn't either. Because honestly, it is a wet blanket. It is a wet blanket. And we're dealing with it. All right, so anyway, that's chat. Checked out chat, so that is all good. Okay, now, in other news that is going on, another good Half-Life news, you know, so that was good. You know, we've got this video footage. It looks beautiful. It looks incredible. There's no downer about that. That is good news. Now, here is more good news, at least for people that happen to own a Valve Index or they happen to own Valve Index controllers. If you own a Valve Index or Index controllers, there are these new environments that you can get into for free. 2 different Half-Life Alyx environments. I was in both of these last night, checking them out. And one of the things I found surprising, like this one right here, which is like City 17, this environment right here, you can actually move around quite a bit within this world. Now, it is like a photogrammetry version of what Half-Life Alyx is. There actually is some very minor interactivity. There are some things that you can pick up and throw around. You can interact with a couple of little things, which is kind of interesting from the photogrammetry standpoint. One of the things that, like for example, see picking up that little bucket right there and throwing it, so you can interact with a few things here. One of the things that Valve was mentioning about this is that this is not like the game engine itself. So the game engine looks better than this. That is one of the main things that they wanted to focus on. I mean, they wanted to make sure people knew about this, that the game engine, don't judge Half-Life Alyx based exclusively on this photogrammetry. You got to actually be in the real game itself. It's even higher resolution. It's going to look even better. But this was very impressive. I did check out both of the different environments that you can go into, moved all around inside the different environments. Very impressive. I mean, one of the things that is kind of weird, where I can't fast forward this, but they haven't gotten to the other environment where you're indoors in the laboratory or whatever it is. And there's all these computer monitors. I didn't know in this like weird Half-Life split future situation that's going on in the Half-Life world, that basically ViewSonic CRT monitors survived well into the future era of that world. So yeah, there's a lot of CRT monitors that are all over, but there's lots of detail. I mean, absolutely oozing with detail all over the place. So this looks good. And also, as you can see right here, you can do this multiplayer. So you can have like a little meetup, a little gathering. Where's gaming science teacher when you need her? She can create a little meetup inside City 17 so we can all walk down the hallways together and look at the posters and check it all out. But it does look very good. And I did check these out, and I didn't think, like, this is less of a spoiler to me. This just gives me a little bit of a feel for what it's going to kind of look like in this world. You know, there is one, I can go negative on this though, guys. I can go negative. And it's not really fair. It's not really fair for me to go negative. But one negative thing I'll say about this little situation here is I was in this area and I'm looking around and I'm looking at the posters, I'm looking at the garbage cans, I'm looking at like the different vehicles and stuff, I'm looking at the different details. And I'm like, you know what? All of this does look good. All of this does look good. But I'm in a Valve Index and I want even more field of view and I want the resolution to be even out. Like I want a better headset. I really do. I want a better headset. I feel like this isn't going to be enjoyed. Like, people are not going to enjoy Half-Life Alyx as much as they really should. We need a headset from like 3 years in the future to truly experience this the right way. I mean, that's just the one little negative thing. It's like, I was looking around these worlds and I'm like, yeah, but we don't really have the hardware that I really want, but man, this will be pretty nice. So I will enjoy it. But yeah, these are the environments, folks, that you can check out. So let's see what folks are saying in chat. Rendered Reality says, it's so gorgeous. Jan Red said, not really photogrammetry. It's rather the real deal. Okay. Phil Yarn says, I don't even know what the hell's in my mom's closet. Yeah, you don't want to go in your mom's closet and find the wrong sort of thing. Okay, You Got Cold Feet says, the Half-Life experience will be different than watching it flat. You don't get the whole picture. Oh, you know what? Somebody made this argument. I think it was Greg's VR. I was talking about I don't want to be spoiled, although I've been in here, so I've been spoiled with this stuff. I've seen all of this stuff, and I just thought, you know, it's cool. I walked around, looked at the different monitors. I mean, it really has a cool look to it. The lighting. There's not going to be any glare problem with this one. I can tell you guys that. The Valve Index has a legit glare problem, but Valve knows it more than anyone else. They know the limitations. They know the Achilles heel. And so when they're designing this game, they're probably going to design it in such a way where glare will be kept to a minimum. I'm not sure exactly how they're going to do it, but it looks drop dead gorgeous. But yeah, there's an example. So ViewSonic monitors, folks, survived deep into this far-flung cyberpunk future. Lots of ViewSonic monitors, CRT monitors galore, and lots of Sony PVM and BVM, broadcast video monitor and professional video monitor. You know those like rack monitors that cost like $4,000? I have one actually. It's not exactly a rack one, but I have a Sony PVM. It's great for retro gaming. There's some of those that are like in the backgrounds and stuff, kind of giving you this like laboratory feel. And I looked at some of the computer screens that were in here, and it wasn't just gibberish, you know. So this is the second game Westworld Awakening being the first, where they're not just putting gibberish on these computer screens. Step your games up, ladies and gentlemen. Look at that one, actually has like Windows icons, like from Windows 98 or some shit up on there. You know, so good job on that. No gibberish. Okay, let's see. Yeah, Phil Yarn says, oh my God, y'all ass is going to have to invite me to these joints for real. Yeah, to check this out, to check out these environments. And yeah, I can invite some people into my environment. In fact, you know what I'll do, folks? Right after this show, I'll try to hop in and I'll try to invite people right away. It's VR Game Rankings, VR_game_rankings, all like lowercase. Look for me. I'll try to hop into a room, City 17, right after this show's over. So if anybody wants to try, I don't know if there's a limit, like only 7 or 8 people can jump in or whatever it is. But if you want to, jump in. We'll check it out. Okay, so that's the main Half-Life related stuff, the index related stuff that we wanted to get into. Again, 18 days away, so it's exciting. The thrill is there. If only we didn't have the wet blanket. Nah. But yeah, no, it's a good thing. Okay, so now what I want to do is we do have sponsors, ladies and gentlemen, and every once in a while I need to thank my sponsors. Now, this video is not officially sponsored or anything like that. I'm talking about my Patreon supporters. I'm talking about super chatters like Slayblaze. I'm talking about PayPal donators and just well-wishers and people that have like on message boards mentioned VR365. I want to thank all the folks out there for doing that stuff. But, you know, I do need to thank my Patreon supporters. Now, we don't have any brand new Patreon supporters. It's been a little while since we've had a new Patreon supporter join up. So what I've decided to do is thank some long-standing Patreon supporters. Craig Rushforth has been around for a long time, supported the Patreon. Really appreciate it, Craig. Thank you so much. Without you, this show would not be possible. So I definitely appreciate that. Jesse Benson, another longtime supporter. In fact, when you want to talk about longtime supporters, there is nobody longer. We're talking Long John Silver, everybody. Jesse Benson has been around since day one. Hopped on the Patreon day one. I believe the first member aboard. The Patreon. So thank you so much, Jesse Benson. So wanted to thank a couple of longtime Patreon supporters. That's something I'm going to do when we don't have a brand new Patreon supporter joining the fold. Now, what about the PayPal people? Okay, well, we haven't really had any PayPal donations in a while either. It's a little bit of a drought season over there as well, you might say. But you know what? SARIN was the most recent PayPal donation. So we'll go ahead and thank SARIN for his support, his, her, I believe it's a he. But thanks for your support. Appreciate it so much. SAR has been down with the program for a very long time as well. So just wanted to thank our sponsors really quick. Okay, so now what I wanted to get into, guys, is we've got a brand new VR game. A brand new VR game that is coming this spring. Now, when I first saw this VR game, it was a PlayStation VR trailer, and I thought this game was a PlayStation VR game. But no, I found out that this game is basically coming to all the major VR platforms. I'm not sure about the Oculus Quest, but it's coming to PC VR, and it's coming to PlayStation VR, and it looks pretty good, and it's coming this spring, and there's some talented developers behind it. So what we're going to do now, we're going to go to full screen on this thing, and we're going to check out a brand new trailer for a brand new VR game. It is called Good Goliath. Good Goliath. Yeah, a little bit like Ghost Giant in a way. Good Goliath, and it might be slightly similar. So why don't we go ahead and check out this brand new trailer.
Giants. There used to be a lot of them. Now, there are none. Well, that's what we thought. Until today. Goliath.
All right, there it is. That is Good Goliath, and the developer of that game is Knock Twice Games. Have you ever heard of Knock Twice Games? No? Neither have I. I've never heard of them. I don't know anything about them. What I do know is it's very colorful. It looks like, you're a Goliath. So you're like a big giant, but different from Ghost Giant. What you're doing is you're battling a lot of little guys, a lot of little people. You're grabbing things, you're throwing things, you're destroying things, and then it looks like occasionally you go up against another Goliath yourself. And so it's very arcadey, very colorful, very action-packed. It looks fun. It looks like a wham bam, thank you ma'am kind of experience. This is not the kind of game that's going to hold you down like a Asgard's Wrath or a Boneworks or a Saints and Sinners. This is a game where you're going to have a fun burst of entertainment, and you're going to do it maybe 8 or 9 different times, and you're going to have a good time, and that's pretty much what this is. This is Good Goliath. Now, here's the thing. Why don't we go ahead and bounce over to the webinator, because I want to show you guys the website, because I'm a little bit more interested in this game by something that I read on the website. So Good Goliath, you can see that it's coming spring 2020 to VR platforms, and it says about us. We are an indie game developer comprised of amazingly talented industry veterans from Disney and Sony. Currently, we're working on a VR project that we hope many will find as special as we do. Okay, so there's former Disney employees, former Sony employees are working on Good Goliath. So there may be some talented developers there. There's a lot of very, very talented developers that break off into relatively small studios. A number of guys and gals get together. They share a common vision, a common dream. Maybe they've been working on flat games their entire life. They finally get VR, and they're like, yes, finally something we can get excited about. Finally a new medium. Finally some new place we can go with our talents. Look at Highwire Games, the developer of Golem. A bunch of industry veterans that got together. I mean, look at the developers of Gunheart, Drifter Entertainment. A bunch of industry developers that got together and they created a smaller studio. And so Knock Twice Games with Good Goliath, it might be pretty cool. So I am kind of looking forward to that one. So that is going to be coming sometime this spring, and it is coming to all the major platforms. Well, here's the thing. I don't know if it's coming to the Oculus Quest. Does anybody know for sure if it's coming to the Oculus Quest? But anyway, it does look pretty cool. It does feature a 12-level campaign. You fight against waves of tiny little enemies like villagers and cavalry troops. You square off against other bosses. You can grab everything within reach and try to hurl it at the enemies. And the one major question I have is this coming to Quest? Not sure if it's going to be coming to Quest. Okay, so another brand new game that I've never seen anything about. We've got another trailer that we're going to check out. But first, why don't we go ahead and go back to the webinar? And let's see here. I wanted to show you a Steam page. So I saw this game, and the only reason I'm mentioning this is coming up very soon, March 9th. March 9th on the Index Day. Second chance at an Index Day, March 9th. Remember, 10 a.m. Pacific time. Well, also around that same time is Axegend. Not sure I'm a big fan of the name. The logo does look pretty good, and I am a sucker for a lot of color. And there is a lot of color that is popping all over the screen on this Steam page. It says Axegend VR is a roguelike strategic action-adventure game. You will play as a versatile knight who will give his all to save the princess. Anything could become a weapon in his hands. Umbrella, tires, boomerang, axe, tube, whatever. Okay, but yeah, the pictures look pretty good. I mean, it's got a very simplistic, dare I say it, Minecraftian kind of a style that's going on. It's got the lava levels, so you got to like that. It's got spiders, but they are cartoonish, so hopefully that won't bother me too much. The developer is Subversion Squad Studio. I don't know anything about this. I just saw this. I just thought it looked kind of cool, and it's coming out on March 9th, and I did grab the trailer, so why don't we go ahead and check the trailer out. So we're going to go ahead and bounce back over here. We're going to go back to full screen, and we're going to check out Axgend, which is coming this Monday. I'll be right back. Yeah, I don't know. Looks kind of lame. Sorry, guys. I did not see this trailer. But you know what I didn't know? I didn't know this was coming to the Oculus Quest. So it's basically obvious they are playing, this trailer is basically like an Oculus Quest version. So it's also coming to the Oculus Quest. It's also coming to PC VR. Coming to PC VR this Monday. Not sure if it's coming to the Oculus Quest on Monday as well. It looks kind of like, a wavy-ass wave shooter, so probably not something to really trip on, but I did notice it. It looked pretty colorful. Steam page looked good. Didn't see the trailer yet, and a little bit disappointing on the trailer, I think I'd have to say. But yeah, it's a Quest game, so we got another Quest game that is coming our way. All right, so the next major story I wanted to get into, guys, is a topic that has been going on in the VR gaming community for a little while now. And, there's some bad blood that is going on out there, folks, and it's related to the Oculus Quest, and it's related to how the F do I get my game onto the Oculus Quest? Because there's a lot of developers that have been busting their ass to try to get their game on the Oculus Quest. They polish the living crap out of it. They do everything they possibly can, and it still gets turned down. And they're like, man, what's the problem? And then you take a game like Crysis VR Gade, which this is Paradise Decay's video where he played Crysis VR Gade, whatever it's called, on SideQuest, on his Oculus Quest. And, a lot of people love this. A lot of people rant and rave about it. It's had like 70,000 downloads, possibly more by this time. Yet it still is not approved to go to the official Oculus store. And we, of course, saw what happened with To the Top. There's some head-scratching things that are going on that you just don't understand what is going on here. And so the devs complain about this. The community rallies behind the devs. And then Oculus comes in, tries to do a little bit of damage control, but we're not sure exactly what's going on here. Well, there is somebody that is in charge of this process. And that person is Chris Pruitt. And Chris Pruitt is a guy at Oculus that has been speaking up very recently. He's been tweeting out a number of things, trying to explain basically what Oculus's strategy is in this particular situation. And so I want to go ahead, let's see, I'm over here. Okay, that'll work. Yeah, I want to go ahead and read what is going on here. This is Chris Pruitt. And this is a couple of different tweets that he tweeted out, but I put it all together, and it basically is a breakdown of what Oculus is trying to say about the situation with developers getting their games on the platform, why certain games are turned down, and what is the best course of action for these various developers. Okay, so Chris Pruitt says, focus on polish and quality for Quest has driven real developer success. We found that honest, actionable feedback requires more than a form letter or a checklist of things to fix. Devs are most successful when we have an ongoing relationship over the course of development. That's part of the reason we ask for a concept document rather than a playable build for the concept approval title on Quest. We want to give early signal before the developer has spent significant resources on a project. Okay, hold on, it continues. There were like several different tweets altogether. This is the second half of it coming up right here. Okay, we've designed Oculus Start / Launchpad to incubate and support devs, which is why we sometimes recommend it to concepts we've declined. These programs are made to nurture promising devs and to provide support and resources to grow their work. We also understand that many devs and enthusiasts are looking for easier ways to access and distribute applications outside of the Oculus Store. This is an area we're actively thinking about. More to share soon. Okay, now that could be a possible bomb. A possible bomb might have just been dropped in basically that last paragraph right there. He's saying, we also understand that many devs and enthusiasts, nut jobs like yours truly, are looking for easier ways to access and distribute applications outside of the Oculus Store. This is an area we're actively thinking about. More to share soon. What does this mean, ladies and gentlemen, for SideQuest? Is SideQuest, are the days numbered? Are SideQuest days numbered? Or is it possible that Oculus maybe makes an investment in SideQuest? Maybe they just outright buy SideQuest and make SideQuest kind of a official, unofficial platform for experimental type stuff. Now, here's what I don't understand about this whole thing. What is so hard, Oculus, about simply having an experimental store? Why not have a section of the official Oculus Store that says experimental? You know, I mean, is that so outrageous? Does anybody remember like the Xbox 360 back in the days? I remember the Xbox 360 had an experimental store. Now, I know they also closed it and they shut it down, but they used to have this experimental thing where basically anybody could practically make a game. Like you could be just a regular individual Joe Blow and you could scrap a game together, and I forget what they called it, but it was like independent, I don't know, it was something, it was like the Wild Wild West, and people had like real craptacular games that were just a joke of a game trying to get like 99 cents or whatever. But they had this like Wild Wild West that was on the Xbox 360, and it was like an experimental store. And when you bought games there were little warnings that said, you know, this is experimental, it might be buggy, it might not work quite right, etc., etc. And I've always wondered, why doesn't Oculus just do this on the Oculus Quest in an official capacity, and they could kind of bury it a little bit? They don't have to have it front and center, you know, so Joe and Sally Walmart don't have to get so confused by it. Like Joe and Sally Walmart would have to look for it, find it. Then when they look for it and find it, they have to pass a number of warning messages that says this stuff is like the Wild West. It might not work right. It might crash your system. It might do this. It might do that. You know, use at your own risk, blah, 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 blah. And Joe and Sally Walmart, many of them would back the hell out of there and go back to the safe confines of the standardized Oculus Store. why doesn't Oculus do this in an official capacity on the actual store? Now, according to that quote, like if we take a look at that quote again, let me go back to that quote. This is Chris Pruitt. He is one of the main guys there that decides like what actually gets onto the Quest, what doesn't, works with developers. Okay, so he's saying, we also understand that many devs and enthusiasts are looking for easier ways to access and distribute applications outside. This is an area we're actively thinking about. So he says outside. So he's saying like even if Oculus did something in an official capacity, then it's still going to be outside of the store. It's going to be like this other Oculus thing that is but official, maybe like an official version of SideQuest. And I know Oculus has been very friendly with the people that run SideQuest. There doesn't seem to be like a major problem there. I don't think they've given the people that run, Xbox Live Community Games. Yeah, that's what it was. Xbox Live Community Games. And it wasn't around forever. It was around for a while, and then Microsoft killed it off. And maybe they killed it off because ultimately, maybe they got too much complaints from like crappy stuff, and they were just like, it's just not worth it. It's just not worth the trouble. And so maybe Facebook and Oculus, maybe they're aware of that. Maybe they decided, it's really not worth the trouble. That's why we're kind of letting SideQuest do this. But it's an interesting question. And it's like when To The Top, you guys remember when we had the story where To The Top was actually selling the game. Like To The Top is getting actual money, and it is running on an Oculus Quest in a way, right? And Oculus is not getting any of that money. And it's not Electric Hat Games' fault. It's not their fault. They've been denied. They were denied several times, and they're like, well, hell, we want to get something for our hard efforts. And so they've made it that you could buy To The Top, and then you can load it up via SideQuest, and you can play it on your Oculus Quest. But when that happened, shots were fired. Once you monetize SideQuest, now Oculus is like, oh, you're monetizing it now. Okay, now we might have an issue here. As long as, if they never ever monetized anything to do with SideQuest whatsoever, Oculus probably would have let that thing live for quite some time. But now it's been monetized, all bets are off. So they might make their own system. Maybe they buy out SideQuest. Maybe it's going to be a great payday for the people that designed SideQuest and built it from scratch. Maybe Oculus just says, yeah, we'll take that, sell it to us, or we sue the living shit out of you. So either sell it to us and we give you a little bit of money for your efforts, and maybe we hire you on to kind of run the thing along with some of our own people, and then make it like an official thing. I mean, SideQuest, the name is pretty freaking cool. It really works, and it works out great. It's very simple to use, very easy to use. So anyway, let me go ahead and check out chat. Let's see what some people are talking about this. I know it's a controversial topic. There's a lot of interesting angles when we get into this. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and scroll down here. Okay, my chat's taken a while to scroll all the way down. Okay, so let's see here. Gaming Science Teacher, Facebook to acquire SideQuest. That could be very possible, but GNVRS Gaming says that would be tragic. And Jan Red says they need to acquire it. And Jan Red says they can't kill it. Why can't they? I'm pretty sure they can kill it. They could write a couple lines of code that would probably eliminate SideQuest. They could kill it if they wanted to. I'm sure they could. Let's see. GNVRS Gaming says, but Next Gen Quest will not be on Android and offer no third-party backdoor like Quest does. You know what? You're jumping the gun there a little bit, bro. You're jumping the gun. Look, I know that Facebook is working on their own operating system. In fact, it's something I've reported about on this show. It's something I've harped about. I said, look, they cannot wait. They can't wait to get rid of Windows and Android. They don't want to be dependent on any outside forces of any kind. They want to control their entire ecosystem. They want to control the operating. They want to control the whole ball of wax. And that is something that they've been wanting to do for a long time. But will they have this operating system ready in time for Quest 2? Honestly, I would say probably not. The odds, I don't know, man. That's a quick turnaround to have a legit operating system running on Quest 2. I don't know that they're going to be able to do that fast. Now, Quest 3, sure. Quest 3, absolutely. Okay, let's see. Nye says, what are they playing this on? A Quest? Well, it depends on what you're talking about. This Crisis VR Agade, that of course is Paradise Decay. He is playing it, and you can check out this video on his channel, and you might as well check it out when you get an opportunity. But yeah, he's playing Crisis VR Agade. This is on the Quest. This is free. You can do it. You can try it out. In fact, I just got SideQuest on my Quest, and I've been trying out a few different things. I was just in Pavlov the other evening trying different guns out, going through the areas and checking stuff out. And I'm going to jump back into this. I did check this out a long time ago, and I did enjoy it quite a bit. I don't have it uploaded on my Quest right now, but I am going to check this one out again. But yeah, you can try this for free. Like, anybody can check this out. You do have to do the whole developer thing, and some people get a little bit nervous about that. Okay, Slayblaze says, seems weird that Oculus would reject games based on concept design documents rather than actual gameplay demos. You know, that is a very, very, very good point, Slayblaze. That is a very good point. Yeah, let's go back to that quote. In fact, I was thinking about that when I read that. So the second paragraph here, that's part of the reason we ask for a concept document rather than a playable build for the concept approval title on Quest. We want to give early signal. Here's what they're saying. They're saying, look, before you even waste your time, give us a freaking breakdown of what the game is about. Because if it's a dumbass game about having a snowball fight, all these goofy concepts, see, here's the problem. I understand what Oculus is dealing with. In fact, I can show you what Oculus is dealing with. All we have to do is go to Steam. All we have to do is go to Steam and look at all the freaking games that bombard Steam on a constant basis. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's go to the webinar, ladies and gentlemen. So here we are, Steam, and this is recently released games. Okay, AxeGen, that's supposed to be available on March 9th. Not sure why it's in there already, and Boiling Steel's already been around for a while. But, for example, this game like Die Wolf here, this might not be a bad game, but it's another effing wave shooter. And see, the thing is, Oculus could get a design document for Die Wolf Archery VR, and they could be like, we've got too many of these, man. So don't even waste your time starting to program some of this stuff. That's what Oculus is doing here. They're taking a look at some of these little games like Jar Wars or RPG. I mean, maybe some of these are good. I don't want to shit on some good games that aren't bad, but there's so much crap. There's so much really crappy stuff that comes out all the time. Like Mental. Okay, well, this might be okay. I don't know. But it's just some of this stuff, I can see it a mile away that it's not going to sell. Nobody's ever going to want to play it. And it's just clogging up space. And then Joe and Sally Walmart, they're scared to death. They don't want to scare away Joe and Sally Walmart with some crappy games or too many wave shooters, too many games in this category, too many games in that category. So here's the thing. But Oculus does not want to come out and say that, oh, we're judging it based on your concept, because that sounds bad. Then it's oh, but somebody can make the most amazing game and you're disregarding it just because the concept doesn't fit in your narrow little vision, Oculus. Why don't you get outside of the box that you've caged yourself in? Oculus doesn't want to deal with that. So they've got to couch it in a certain way. But that's really what's going on here. And going back to Crisis VR Agade, I don't know what it is that's so objectionable about this, but it's not the gameplay. The gameplay is not the problem. Maybe it's the fact that you're going into banks with hostage situations and blood. I don't know, but there's like bloody stuff all over the place in most of these VR games. So it can't be like the blood thing. I don't know. I don't know what's in this game. That's kind of, honestly, that's one of the reasons why I want to fire this thing up on Quest again and try to play through it as much as possible, because I want to try to see like what is in here that is bothering Oculus so much, but there's something about this game that bothers them. There's something about To the Top that bothers them, but they don't want to give you the actual reason, because the actual reason is probably kind of nonsensical, but it makes sense to them as like chaperoning their platform and making sure their platform has the right kind of experiences. It makes a lot of sense to them in some kind of crazy ass way. But for us, we're struggling with it. We don't understand it. We don't get it. And it freaking bothers us. All right, well, let's see what folks are talking about in chat. Let's see. Jan Red, too much trouble with the fan base. Nye says, yeah, always thought that monetizing SideQuest was risky. Absolutely. I think it really is super risky. Supersonic Station, why do we have to install Oculus app on our C drive? Every update eats my C drive up. I'm running out of space. Yeah, you know, Oculus has a lot of little things that they eventually need to fix. The problem is fixing that little problem. You know what that little problem reminds me of? It reminds me of that problem that Sony had with like changing your username. Like it was freaking impossible for like 10 years for people to change their username. And the reason is because if they changed that, it would break something unexpectedly. They would have to go back, rewrite all this code for something, and they just didn't want to deal with it. And I think it's the same thing with Oculus and having to have the games in a very specific drive and some of the weird little things about the Oculus store. But here's the good news, guys. You got to look at the flip side of the coin. There's certain things about the Oculus store that we can get away with regarding the Oculus store that eventually they're going to shut that shit down. So as much crappy stuff that they have, understand that there's also some good things that come our way. I don't want to get into it, but I think you guys know what I'm talking about. There's some good side effects from the Oculus store as far as that goes. Robert Starinchak. Chris's game was about a snowball fight. Yeah, but I mean, look, I'm not talking smack about Chris's game. I'm just saying that I'm thinking of these games that, you know, those games that like hit Steam on Christmas Day. Like somebody makes a snowball fight that hits Steam on Christmas Day. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about Chris's game. But I'm just saying little games like that. Oculus wants to be like very hands-on about deciding what comes to their platform. So anyway, guys, let's see. So that's pretty much the main stuff that I did want to cover today. Let me see if I had anything else. Oh, you know what? Wait a minute. Hold up an effing minute, because I do want to jump in. I'm hungry. I need to get some food, but I do want to jump into that City 17, the Half-Life thing, and try to make a public room. And then anybody that wants to join me in there, go ahead and do that. But before I bounce, I want to hop over to the webinar, because you know what, guys? Let me check something out here. I want to change it onto VR game rankings. One thing that we've updated recently, our top 100 most wanted upcoming PC VR games. And the thing is, we don't have good Goliath on this ranking yet, because that was just announced today and I haven't had time to add it into our rankings. But other than that, we're pretty much up to date. And so I just wanted to point out a couple of minor changes. You know, Half-Life Alyx is coming on March 23rd. That is the #1 most wanted game with a bullet, not even close. And you can see much of the other big bangers that we're looking for. Also, there is some recent news from Population 1. People are wondering, like, what is going on with this game? They are banging away hard at it. They're working on it constantly. So don't worry about that. That game is in good hands. They're banging away on it. Now, one thing I did want to show you guys, though, here at number 8, Project 4 by Stress Level Zero. Yeah, do you remember that story that we had last week? Project 4 is coming to PC VR platforms, so it does need to be ranked. It is an interesting game that we are excited about, so it is ranked. We have it in there at number 8. And then another recent arrival on this list is Lies Beneath by Drifter. We went ahead and ranked that at number 15. We got it right after Lo-Fi, but we got it right before The Room VR, A Dark Matter, which is coming on March 26. Another pretty big banger that is actually coming this month. So Lies Beneath, we're excited about it. Some people might wonder, how high would Lies Beneath jump into the charts? Well, it jumped in at number 15. Okay, scrolling down a little bit, I just wanted to see if there were any other little updates I wanted to mention here. By the way, The Rig by Sunset Division, we have a new date for this. It is June 2020. So the Steam page has been updated. So this game does still exist. It is still coming. So hold your little horsies for The Rig. It is coming in June. Okay, Down the Rabbit Hole. So Down the Rabbit Hole is coming on March 26, a couple of days after Half-Life Alyx, and the same day as The Room VR, A Dark Matter. Pretty harsh window to jump into, but Cortopia Studios says, I don't give a damn, we're doing it anyway. Down the Rabbit Hole, we have that ranked 34th. Another new arrival on this chart is Vin VR Adventure. Kind of looks like Lucky's Tale. This one's by Monologic, coming in the second quarter. We have that ranked 37th. Continuing to scroll down, I just wanted to see some new stuff. Oh yeah, there is some more new stuff. So Cosmophobia, the developer of Dreadhalls, White Door Games, is working on Cosmophobia coming this summer. We have it ranked 45th. You can see Megalith, by the way. Is this controversial at all? We ranked Megalith 48th. By Disruptive Games. We've got 47 games ranked ahead of Megalith. Are we dissing Megalith? See, I don't know, man. I don't know what's going to happen with Megalith. It is out there on Steam VR. In fact, I can show you guys. Let me show you guys the Steam VR page for Megalith. Yeah, it's coming to PC VR. And one of the cool things about it, the graphics do look considerably improved. So this is a Steam page for Megalith. It's coming from Disruptive Games. For those that don't know what we're talking about here, look at that. That looks pretty dope. This was a PlayStation VR game, basically like a MOBA on PlayStation VR, 2 versus 2. It's going for $29.99. $30 on PlayStation VR. Now, I think it's free to get in and play the basic version of it. And then when you pay $29.99, you get all the extra doodads. You get to play with all the different heroes and all that stuff. I'm not sure how they're going to do this in PC VR, and I don't know what kind of hype level a game like Megalith is going to have among PC VR fans. This can go either way. This can come out, and I think PC VR fans could be really excited and hyped about this game, or nobody even freaking notices it, and it freaking is like crickets, and nobody freaking buys this, and nobody really pays any attention to it. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with that. But yeah, we have Megalith ranked 48th. Separation just arrived, I believe, on PlayStation VR. Very short game. That one is ranked 52nd. Iron Lights, Cookout, A Sandwich Tale. We don't have a legit screenshot or a legit video, but we've already got it ranked 55th because it is Resolution Games and they are baller status. They've been working really hard on this stuff. Deadness coming from Alien Studio, Exergo. So there's a lot of stuff. Shaman Spirit Hunter, assuming that it still exists, coming this fourth quarter from PlaySnack. Project Terminus, there's a demo that you can actually play on your Oculus Quest. Well, it's also coming to PC VR platforms. Demagnet from Bitcake Studio. That one is still coming to PC VR platforms. All kinds of them, dude. We have 100 PC VR games ranked, and there's always more. In fact, the game that just came out today, Good Goliath, is going to rank somewhere on these charts. So I just wanted to mention that we did update that, and there are a lot of incredible games that are still coming later this year, early next year. Lots of good VR stuff to be excited about. So there is that to look forward to. All right, so what I'm going to do now, folks, I'm going to bounce the hell out of Dodge. And then what I am going to do is immediately after bouncing out of here, I'm going to fire up my Valve Index, and which I haven't used this thing in a long time, man. Finally fired up ye old Valve Index again. And it actually was these environments that are in Half-Life Alyx that caused me to actually hook up my Valve Index, because I've mostly been using my CV1 because I've been playing Saints and Sinners and the glare is still an issue. But yeah, so I'm going to hop off of here. I'm going to jump onto Steam, VR game rankings, look for my room. And if you want to talk for a minute, I'll chat for a little while, but I got to get dinner pretty soon, but I'll see you guys. So I'm going to go ahead and bounce out of here, and I'll see you guys over there. All right, so everybody have a good one. I will, of course, be back on Sunday, 11:30 a.m. Pacific time, back to our normal time, Sunday on Twitch, twitching it up. No guests this time. We'll get into different topics, games that are coming, news stories, whatever there happens to be. So we'll get into some stuff on Sunday. All right, I will see you guys then. Have a good one. Take it easy, and later.